No,
Hey! Whoop.
you spelled it right this time.
Okay, now he's in.
Hmm? Oh, okay. He was in for me a second ago.
Okay, he wasn't in for me,
Huh.
so I wasn't sure. If he was, oops. Okay, that's not what I expected to catch.
Found sweet.
I've only been succeeding on the first ones.
Mm-hmm.
You
Oh, yeah.
managed to fucking catch two of them on your first try.
Watch me catch nothing this
Anyway,
time. Oh, hippopotamus! Never mind.
again, I think like the first ones are like kind of a almost guarantee to catch. Weirdly
Mm.
enough. Besides the point. Um, Hello, we're doing assemblage of various video game
Creepypastas.
creepypastas. Uh, I think I may have made it like kind of seem at the very least that I just outright dislike creepypastas. I honestly don't. I did have a phase way back when in which I just gobbled this shit up. But my whole thing is more that most of them I don't tend to find especially scary or even creepy. Now, whenever they are doing their whole thing of supposed to be like internet campfire stories, I think that can work. It's just that so many of them don't.
Question becomes though, like when it comes to like real like campfire like stories and stuff like that, are any of them really all that scary? Like
Part of it
seriously?
is the atmosphere that you're in,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but also at the same time, like part of what makes the campfire stories work is the fact that you are kind of given minimal information.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the whole thing with like fucking "Are you afraid of the dark?" and like and like shit like that. Is that yeah, you're telling a story of just you're given like the necessary information of oh yeah, this scary thing happened, and it turns out that in the end this. The issue with like a lot of creepypastas, especially OC creepypastas, is that they tend to focus too much on trying to shove in backstory,
Mm-hmm.
which
Fear of the unknown is
doesn't
one of the
work.
greatest fears to come out of things. So when it comes to like
Yeah.
different characters, one of the reasons why monsters are scary is because they're an unknown factor. They're not something
Well,
logical. It's like
that's why vampires aren't really good for horror anymore because we know the rules for vampires.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, you have to invite them in for them to be able to get into your house. Stake through the heart kills them. Garlic will drive them away. Stuff like that.
Mhm.
You know the rules. Same like werewolves.
Mhm.
Even with monsters, like again, like vampires and stuff like that. Vampires kind of had to deal with like the fear of death when you get
Mhm.
down to it, because it was the whole thing of oftentimes vampire mythologies had it to where a vampire was someone who came back from the dead because they hadn't been given proper funeral rites.
Hmm.
Uh, and stuff like that. Like fucking werewolves seem to be a whole thing with disease because one of the often things that was stated is that you could end up becoming a werewolf because you drank water from the paw print of a wolf,
Mhm.
which kind of makes it seem like a possible like rabies connection or something like that.
And that's how it could have like gone to like the term contracting lycanthropy and stuff like that, or
As
like
well as like other things were often that deals with the devil were things that caused a person to become a werewolf, which again that being the whole fear of like the devil back then because it was the whole idea because of how strong how prevalent the church was
Mhm.
and being told that every bad thing came from the devil. But
Well,
it's kind of but like that's the whole thing is that what's considered scary also depends on like what time frame you're in.
mhm.
For instance, like it's the whole thing like with I mentioned with vampires and improper funeral rites.
Mhm.
Typically, a monster is going to represent a fear that is indicative of the time.
Mhm.
Like hell, Attack the Block's a good example of that sort of shit. Um, or like the slew of horror movies that came out in the wake of 9/11. Like That sort of thing. And that is often what you do kind of see with like campfire stories as well, as it's typically like a whole sort of thing of that and the unknown and of course all that. That's kind of the point is, whenever creepypasta is done right, it can be like a little ooh, that kind of like sent a little tingle up my spine sort of thing. It's when it's done poorly.
Yeah.
When instead of trying to do the whole campfire story thing, you're trying to like create some like broad overarching thing that just isn't properly thought out, as well as just kind of showing your hand from the beginning.
Like Jeff the Killer, for example.
Yeah, Jeff the Killer is scarier if you don't know about like all the shit involved in backstory. Like, oh, this person, this weird pale white ghastly figure with a fucking smile carved into his face and unblinking eyes has been going around breaking into people's houses and murdering them in their beds.
Mm-hmm. That would
It's
be a
kind
better
of creepy.
Mm-hmm.
But then you go into his backstory and how he got that way, and it's like, okay, this stopped being scary.
Mm-hmm.
Shit like that, like that's where I tend to have the issue.
Rationality is a very good thing to combat fear in certain situations. I've found different situations in where I've been like in a place where I've started panicking and I've started getting scared, and what my mind will do is it'll grasp on things and it'll start explaining things like, okay, this is such and such and such and such. That's why you're feeling this, and it'll start calming me down and stuff like that. And it's the fear of the whole unknown. Thing. That's one of the
like, if you start rationalizing the thing that we're supposed to be afraid of, it makes it less scary.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's besides the point. We're looking at video game creepypastas, so spoopy things that happens in video games. We're starting off with Mr. Bones' Wild Ride.
Yep.
We went on for fucking 6 minutes.
Only 6 minutes? We'll have to try harder next time.
Motherfucker. So anyone who's been on /V board of 4chan probably knows about Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. For those who don't, it was a ride made for ride someone made for Roller Coaster Tycoon. It was one of those really slow motor car rides but with a twist. It had 30,693 feet of track and a ride time of 70 real-time minutes, around 4 years in-game. In addition, there were those props of the skeleton holding one of his top hats scattered around here and there, as if to mock the customers. Needless to say, there were a lot of passengers screaming, "I want to get off Mr. Bones' Wild Ride."
Now here's where things get really good. Once the ride came to a stop, the passengers found themselves on a long path that took about 2 hours to traverse. Once they reached the end, they found themselves facing a sign that read, "Mr. Bones says the ride never ends."
This sounds like something that Call Me Kevin would do in a fucking Tycoon game.
It sounds like what anyone would do after playing Roller Coaster Tycoon for a long enough time would do.
Well, like at one point with one game, he had a whole thing where the goal was to get a certain amount of people in the park at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so what he did is he had it to where all of the rides unloaded on an island that had no exits.
Oh, okay.
Like, this sounds like that.
A little bit.
The path led straight back to the entrance of Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. It sounds like something Call Me Kevin would do. I'm just imagining this fucking giddy Irishman saying feckers. There was nowhere else to go. In other words, they were fecked. Needless to say, this gained a lot of popularity on /V, and people started making their own Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. I was one of them and made a version with a ghost train ride. I know the one that's usually, the one that's usually a huge death trap. Didn't last as long as the original, but it did have a twist. Near the end, it launched the cars into a small shed with a sign on the side that said, "Enjoy your stay." I killed about 20 people with that ride and laughed my ass off as each of them went, as they each went one by one to their graves.
Well,
there was one of them in which, like, because I can't remember. I think it was like Planet Coaster or something like that. One of those where you could actually upload like audio tracks to be like the music that's supposed to play when you're on the ride.
Okay, yeah, I think I
And
know.
he just put that like audio clip of that one man screaming on a fucking tilt-a-whirl. So it's spinning around. You just hear, ah! Just deafening.
Oh, lovely.
Like this just sounds like that.
Fast forward a few weeks, and I was in Busch Gardens on vacation. I was wandering around trying to decide what to ride. That's when I noticed a ride that hadn't been there the last time I visited. It was weird because it had never been advertised, and there was nothing on the map about it. I figured, what the hell, and got in line.
Surprisingly, the line wasn't very long. I waited about 10 minutes to get on. It was one of the motor car rides, which is kind of weird because they already had one elsewhere in the park. Why would they open up a second one? After buckling in, I looked up ahead and froze. There was a giant skeleton up ahead tipping a hat to me with a sign over his head. No, I whispered. The sign said Mr. Bones' Wild Ride.
Okay.
The nightmare becomes reality.
Yeah, only 10 minutes. Jeez.
Only 10 minutes is saying something. Have you ever waited in line for a fucking ride at an amusement park? That shit takes forever.
I know. It's ridiculous. It's
Mount Olympus up in the fucking Wisconsin Dells? Holy shit.
Oh, Six Flags, dude. Six Flags. That's all I'm going to say.
Six Flags?
I'm just saying, I've been to Six Flags. There are a lot of signs there, and it's like, I have a lot of time to contemplate. Do I really want to ride this ride? I waited.
Do I really want to get on Mr. Bones' Wild Ride?
I waited in line for about an hour and a half to get on to, I think it was the Texas Giant, and right as it was about to be my turn, I was like, nope, I'm done, and I left. I didn't go on the ride, because I hate roller coasters immensely. I struggled with my restraints, but they wouldn't come off. I begged the employee controlling the ride to help and that I had changed my mind, but he ignored me. My car started moving and I screamed in terror. Up ahead, the track stretched on for what seemed like forever. I want to get off Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. Okay, not terrible.
That actually feels like it could be like a fucking, I mean, it wouldn't, but, like a fucking, like, Are You Afraid of the Dark, or like Goosebumps, like
yeah, you know, it's
episode.
not. Oh, there's a Fallout one.
Do you want to do the Fallout one?
I'm looking to see how long it is real quick. Okay, there's one that's called Fallout Diary of a Dead Man, and it sounds terrible. Let's do it. If you're okay with that, anyway. Hello? You're lighting up, but I can't hear you.
There we go.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, so there's two Fallout ones. There's one of them that's also just like a string of like letters and numbers that I might want to try and see what that's about.
Okay, we can do that one like after this Fallout one, possibly.
Fallout 3, Number Station, The Fallout Effect, or Fallout Diary of a Dead Man.
Fallout Diary of a Dead Man, because it sounds stupid.
Oh, that sounds like it would just be like some in-game thing. Author's note. I don't really like this one for some reason, but I figured I'll pop it on anyway here just in case someone happens to like it. Again, I apologize for the terrible spelling.
At least he has the decency to apologize for it. October 22nd, 2077. Yet another typical day. Get up, go to work, come home, watch TV, go to sleep, repeat.
It's adult life. It really is.
The war is still the big news. It looks like we're driving the Chinese back. Do they really think they could take the American mainland? Damn commies are fooling themselves.
That new power armor they made has really given us an edge. We're cutting straight through them. They don't even have a chance.
The war will be over in no time.
The new Nuka-Cola Quantum comes out tomorrow. Can't wait to get my hands on some of that. If it's anything like the Quartz Nuka they brought out not long ago, I'll be hooked in no time.
Okay. Decent start. Sounds about like something I find in the Fallout series.
Yeah, that's the whole thing, is I get the feeling this is likely going to feel less like a creepypasta and more like just an actual in-game thing you would find.
hmm
Because there's a lot of shit like that in the Fallout games of just like, oh, that got fucking dark.
hmm Oh man, yeah. I It's one of the reasons I like the Fallout universe. Just lots of fun stuff there. October 23rd, 2077. It happened. My God, it finally happened. I never really believed it would. New York is in ruins. Everything's burning.
I ignored the
Oh,
sirens. I thought it was just another drill, but they threw everything they had at us. The Robco factory came down on top of me. I'm trapped under here. I can't feel my legs. I think I'm going to die down here.
rather have gone in the explosions. I wouldn't have felt a thing. Just gone. Now I'm going to die of dehydration in this godforsaken hole.
I can see outside through a little crack in the rubble, though. It's hell out there. Most people have just been incinerated. Others look like they're melting. Their skin is just, I can't even describe it.
I can hear some of my workmates around me. I could hear Minnie screaming until a few minutes ago. She must be dead now.
I never told her how I felt.
This might be someone turning into a ghoul. Just going to call that right now, but I don't know for sure.
That seems like the obvious thing, yeah.
There are other people around me too. Some are moaning in pain, others are weeping. Some must be in absolute agony, judging by the sounds they're making. Such awful wailing.
Why am I even writing this? I don't know if anyone will be around to read it.
No, I mustn't think like that. Some people must have made it to the vaults or taken shelter underground.
Gunshots? I just heard gunshots. People are shooting each other now? Completely fucked, and instead of helping each other, we're just killing each other?
What the fuck is wrong with us? How could we do this?
I'm so tired.
Can barely keep my eyes open. Not sure I want to.
October 24th, 2077. I'm going to die soon. I can feel it.
At least it was faster than dehydration.
The fires are closer now. I can feel the heat even under all this rubble. Luckily, I think I'll be dead by the time it reaches me.
Hope so, anyway.
There are still gunshots and wails of terror, pain. Or terror and pain. Okay. But it's silent around me now. I must be the last survivor under this rubble.
God, I hope we haven't wiped ourselves out.
To anyone that survives this, no matter how far in the future, I'm so sorry. This is our greed and lust for power that did this to the world. People like me, we're just normal people trying to make a living, feed our families, living day to day. It's the people at the top. They just want more money, more power, more.
My name is, or should I say was, Simon Benson. Was just a man. I worked hard. I only wanted to live.
There were so many people like me. If you find this 200 years from now, when the vaults are open and the world is livable again, I know I wish you all the best. And I hope we haven't made the world too hard a place for you to live, to raise your families in.
Don't repeat our mistakes.
I am.
Yeah.
That wasn't really a creepy pasta.
Yeah, no, that was.
That was just a fucking lore log.
Yeah, I was.
As such,
like
it wasn't
something in like an actual game, and I'm okay with this.
It wasn't terribly written, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wasn't like the best written. That last part kind of just got hokey.
Mm-hmm, a little bit, but at the same time, it's like that was decent. And again, I could easily see something like that in a Fallout game, which I think is a good thing. I'm disappointed. I was thinking it was going to be something stupid, but then it turned out to just be a Fallout log.
Just kind of depressing.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I'm actually going to bookmark the things that we've read so far.
Okay.
That way, I can put links to them whenever whenever the episode goes up. So.
Okay.
But the next one.
Is it the one on the trending pages thing that you were talking about?
No, it's under J.
Mm-hmm.
You'll know when you see it because it's literally just a fucking line of text, line of code or whatever.
Yeah, it's one of the things that's listed under trending right now. So
is it listed under trending right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's It's like
Okay.
it goes that one, then right next to it is Super Mario 64, then Hero Brian, then Mario, and then
Of
Mr.
course,
Mix.
Hero Brian. I don't
Let's
think
read Hero Brian.
we'll read Hero Brian after.
uh,
The true story of the theater. Is there another fucking theater one? Fucking hell. Like, the first theater is one thing. Why are there so many?
the
Okay, so
theater
this
of
is...
theater. What just happened to the theater?
Okay, this is JVK1166Z.ESP.
It's a little bit long, but I think I just think that should be okay.
That's an interesting picture. What the fuck is that?
Looks like
Some
poor.
people might...
I was gonna say it looks like poor programming.
Yes, yeah. Some people might recall some momentary buzz a couple of years ago after by a particularly odd Morrowind mod. The file name was jvk1166z.esp. It was never posted on any of the larger Elder Scrolls communities, just some smaller boards and... Okay. Role-playing groups. I know in a few cases, rather than being posted, it was sent via PM or email to a chosen few. It was only up for a few days, to the best of my knowledge.
It caused a buzz because it was a virus, or seemed to be. If you tried to load the game with the mod active, it would hang at the initial load screen for a full hour and then crash to the desktop. If you
Thanks, modders. I love it.
If you let it get that far, your install of Morrowind, along with any save files you had, would become completely corrupted. Nobody could figure out what the mod was trying to do since it couldn't be opened in the construction set. Eventually, warnings were distributed not to use it if you found it, and things died down. You know, you could just leave it there, and that could be a horror story all of its own, because, like, things like that, it's like, you're going to destroy all of your save files, even your 999.
That's just real horror.
Yeah.
That's just real horror. I'll definitely say this. The mod that turns Nerd Gigante into Thomas the Tank Engine, this is not.
Yeah.
That's an actual thing, and I love it. I especially love the dive bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just see Thomas, like, fucking yeet himself into the sky and then come crashing down.
Choo-choo, motherfucker.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Turns into ear rape.
About a year later, in a mod board I used to frequent, someone popped up with the mod again. He said he was PM'd by a lurker who deleted his account immediately after sending. He also said that the person advised him to try playing the mod through a DOS box. For some reason, this worked. Sort of. The game was a bit laggy, and you couldn't get into options load game, the console, or really anything else other than the game itself. The quick save and quick load hop buttons worked, but that was it. And the quick save file seemed to be just part of the game file, so you couldn't get at it anymore. Some speculated the changed game used an older graphics render, making DOSBox necessary, but it didn't look any different.
This part I can speak about from personal experience. When you start a new game in JVK, as the board came to call it, once you left the starting bit in the census office and came into the game proper, the first thing you notice is that the prophecy has been severed box pops up. This is because every single NPC having to do with the main quest is dead, with the sole exception of Yagram Bagarn, the last of the Dwemer. Their corpses never despawn, so you can go check on all of them. In effect, you begin in a world that is doomed to start with. Yeah, might I just say right now, the Dwemer are one of my favorite things about the Elder Scrolls universe. Just kind of a highly advanced society that died for God knows what reason, and just it's just a really cool take on dwarves. I really like it.
Second thing you notice is that you're losing health. Thanks, modder.
Thanks, modder. I hate it.
It's only a bit, but it keeps happening. A little bit at a time. The longer you stay in one place, the quicker it seems to occur. If you let this health loss kill you, you'll find the cause. A figure we came to call the Assassin because he seems to wear a retextured version of the Dark Brotherhood armor from Tribunal, even though the expansions don't work in JVK. So black, completely untextured, like he's just a hole in space. The way he moves, he gave me quite a start. First time I played, the first time I saw him scuttling around my dead body. Did I hear scuttling?
Well, I'm glad.
Yes. You did. Not about you, though. About an assassin. I have moonlighted before. I do require payment, though. We're not looking for your services right now. You will. Lovely. I fucking hell.
Glad I'm
He
over
crawls
here.
inhumanly on his hands and feet. I had that.
I'm sorry.
His arms and legs splayed out like a spider. That sounds familiar. See what I have to deal with, Tom?
Well, it's your fault for summoning her.
You act as though I do this intentionally. She just shows up as soon as she's thought about.
Oh, that would explain why she shows up. She only shows up whenever we're recording, because I don't think a lot.
I mean, we're also talking about someone who doesn't really have to exist in a single place at any time.
Yeah.
If I were you, I'd make sure not to look into dark corners right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm sitting right next. Yep. She's there.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I just want you to remember, I tried to help clean up the blood that Llytic spilled.
That's a funny way to say coughed up.
It spilled out of you, like overflowing.
Oh, we have the happy story to blame for that. It's quite terrible. I've read many stories in my time. That one is quite special in its badness. Yes.
Yeah, that's a word for it.
Anyway. You'd usually see him after death, crawling around and over your body just before the reload box popped up. Occasionally, you catch a glimpse of him darting around a corner or crawling on a wall or ceiling. Made the game very difficult to play at night.
Yeah. Usually games are difficult to play at night, because if you turn the lights off, it'll make your head hurt if you just have the TV on after a while.
I don't tend to have that issue, but it depends on the game. I have a lot more issues trying to play them when it's bright.
Other than that, the only noticeable difference is that at night, at random intervals, every NPC in the game will go outside for a few minutes. During this time, the only thing they will say when hailed is, "Watch the sky." Once they return to their normal behavior and act like normal, though.
I thought they were all dead, or is it just plot relevant ones?
Just plot
Having
relevant
to do a
ones.
main quest. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
After a while, a player on the board discovered a new NPC named Tyrius, a male Dunmer, in the Temple of Ghostgate. What? Okay.
Dark Elf. Mm-hmm.
Two things were notable about this NPC. First is his robe, a unique article of clothing that was lovingly rendered with twinkling stars all across it, looking like a torn-off chunk of the night sky. So he's Nyxborn, got it.
Well, either that or he's a wizard.
The second is that all of his dialogue, in addition to showing up in the dialogue box, is voiced. Blocks. House. You can skip it if you wish, but it all sounds like it's the default male Dunmer voice. Some people said that they thought the voice was slightly different, but it was a very, very good imitation.
I won't go into the details, but the questline he sends you on has to do with a dungeon referred to simply as the Citadel. Up until this point, the quests were all of a fairly generic discover the secret of the ancients bent. The entrance to this dungeon is on a small island far to the west of Morrowind proper. Eventually discover that if you used a scroll of Icarian flight at the westernmost point on the main landmass and jumped directly west, you'd end up almost exactly at the island.
Even though the dungeon is called the Citadel, it goes straight down. It dwarfs any other dungeon, both in size and difficulty. From the natural cave area, you'll proceed down into the ancestral tomb-looking area, then a Daedric ruin area, then a Dwemer ruin area. I made it down to the Dwemer ruins before I quit. The creatures here were strong enough that a level 20 character would have to take care, and since you can't use the console in JVK, level 20 took a while to get to. Since quick save and quick load were your only options, it was all too easy to get yourself into an impossible situation too. I did, I just didn't have the energy to start over.
Oh, that's a big mood. I know what that's like.
I can help you with that.
No.
It just requires a bit of payment.
Yes, I'd rather not have to pay stuff like that. I just went back a little bit to one of my earlier saves and was able to fix it. Thank you, though. That was a very kind offer.
It's your line.
Yeah, I know. She's right next to me, dude.
Yeah, same.
Okay. Now, what I'm telling you is based on what those few who went further reported. Past the Dwemer Ruins, you find yourself in a level like the Dwemer Ruins, but darker. Rather than the usual bronze, all the surfaces, including those of the creatures, are black. The sounds of machinery are loud here, still randomly. There's also steam or fog everywhere, limiting your vision to about 10 in-game feet or so. If you can make it through all this, you will reach a hall that those who found it called the Portrait Room.
Like the fire and torches or other effects from early 3D games, this room has picture frames that always face directly at you, no matter how you look at them. The images in the frames were always randomly chosen images from your My Pictures folder.
Oh.
Well, that could go very wrong very fast. Lots of porn, yes.
Or very right, depending on how you want to go with the game.
Also true. On the board, the ones who got there had some fun posting screenshots of the portrait room and various pictures with various pictures in the frames. Usually porn, of course. Called it.
At the end of the hall was a locked door. After admitting defeat and returning to Tierras, everyone just found him saying, "Watch the sky," in his gravelly voice. What's more, nobody else in the game would say anything. There was just a completely blank dialogue box with no options at all. They wouldn't even rattle off the usual canned audible greetings. The only exception was at night. Whenever they'd go out for a few minutes, they'd still repeat it. Watch the sky. At this point, one of the players, a friend of mine from the board, noticed, and the few others who got this far agreed, that the night sky was no longer the usual night sky of Tamriel. It had changed into a depiction of a real night sky, and it moved.
You know, I'd especially love it if you could get your head off, like basically just off of my shoulder right now. I'd prefer not to. Understood. Doing the same to you?
Yeah, no. She's doing that, and then she's like, two of her arms are like holding my head like directly on the screen, and she'll stroke me every now and then like I'm a fucking cat. It's weird. It's really weird.
I swear to Dionysus if you start petting me. Don't threaten me with a good time, boy. Okay!
Just let it happen, dude. Just shut up and let it happen.
From this point on, everything is based on what this one person reported. Eventually, he got himself kicked from the board, but I kept in contact with him for as long as he responded. According to him, based on the constellations and planets, the sky started around February 2005. If you died, loaded, or went back into the Citadel, it would start over. When the usual sky graphics took over, the movement would be suspended until the stars appeared again. In the space of a single night, everything would move about 2 months' worth. Since the timescale in JVK was more or less that of the standard game, it meant that a little less than an hour was equivalent to a 24-hour period.
He became convinced that the door would open based on some kind of celestial event. Of course, waiting for that meant leaving the game running. Of course, that meant the game couldn't be left unattended thanks to our old friend the assassin. My friend decided he'd hang out for a whole day just to see if anything happened. That would be about a year's worth of movement. Here's the post that he made at the end of this experiment.
I loaded in Sedney and Neen, where it all starts. Wasn't too bad. Just had to check in now and then to move around and heal to make sure I wasn't dying. But check it out. 24 hours in, the assassin learned a new trick. He screams. I can do that too. Please don't. I was reading, and all of a sudden, this crazy loud shriek just about makes me crap myself. It's like something out of a horror movie. I look up and there he is, just crouched down right in front of me. Of course, the second I moved my character, he ran off. When I went back into the portrait room, the door was still locked. Damn it, damn it, damn it.
A bit later, he came to the decision that he needed to wait 3 days, 3 years. The PM advising us to try DOSBox showed up in February of 2008 was his reasoning anyway.
At the first shriek, the assassin stops hitting you out of nowhere. Now he'll shriek, and if you don't move for a few seconds after that, he hits you. I think whoever made the mod was trying to help. At night, I've got my headphones on. I was just kind of dozing off when he wakes me up with a shriek. I jiggle the mouse and I'm good.
The post was 2 days in from his laptop. Once it was over,
Fuck. 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 So fucking done. So I wait the 3 days, right? And right after the fucking assassin made me jiggle the mouse, he screams again. So I look, and everyone in town is outside. They're all saying, "Watch the sky." I don't see anything though. But then the game starts getting dark, like really dark. I turn up the brightness all the way on my monitor, and I still can barely see. I can see other people in the game, little figures running around in the distance, just running back and forth. If I try to get closer, they run off. Now I was trying to sleep, so the lights are off, and this is kind of creepy.
I don't want to get up to turn on my light because I don't want to miss anything. But nothing fucking happens. Eventually, I go back to the Citadel. It's still dark, and I gotta swim. And the whole time, I can see all these guys swimming around, all around me, just barely there. Make it to the Citadel, and it's normal light inside, and I get worried. Sure enough, the portrait door is still fucking closed. I go outside, and it's all starting over. So that's it. I'm fucking going to bed, and I'm fucking done. The end.
I just got another fucking advertisement for House.
Okay.
After that, two things happened. First, another of the people who got the portrait room claimed that the assassin was showing up in his regular Morrowind game. Quick explanation, if you reinstall Morrowind to a different folder, you could have a normal Morrowind game, normal Morrowind install along with JVK. He himself chalked it up to an overactive imagination at first, but he reported a couple of really big scares with the black figure crawling right at him or seeing it waiting for him just around the corner before scuttling off. Another of those who reached the portrait room started a regular Morrowind game, but never saw him for sure, just a couple of maybes, late at night and always at distance.
The second is that my friend started getting really abusive and short-tempered, though he stopped talking about JVK entirely. It got so bad that he was soon kicked off. I didn't hear anything from him for a couple of weeks after that, so I sent him an email. This was part of his reply.
I know I shouldn't, but with classes out, I've got some time, so I started up JVK again. It's almost 2011, and I think I've got the sleep madness. But stuff is happening. It's still dark. Once it gets dark, it never gets any lighter. It stays like that. People moved a few months ago. Everyone in Sedney just went to that little bandit cave and moved in. They killed the bandits inside, and now they're just standing around inside. They don't say anything anymore. They don't do anything when you click on them. I quick saved and killed one, and he just stood there until he died without fighting back.
And it's like that everywhere. You have to walk since the quick travel people are all in caves now too, but all the cities and towns are just deserted. All the people are in caves and tombs. Everyone in Vivek is down in the sewers. I'm going to Ghostgate next. I want to see if TRS is still there. I'll tell you what he says when I get there.
I replied and said I wanted to see what he said too and waited a day. When I didn't get a reply, I mailed him again. A couple hours later, he sent back.
Sorry, I totally forgot. So it's 2014 now. Since it's always night, the stars are. The whole screen is dark, but you can see the brightest stars moving around. TRS was gone. Everyone in Ghostgate was gone. I don't know where they went. They're not in any of the nearby caves, but there's new stuff. People still don't say anything. But their eyes are bleeding. It's so dark that even with the light spell, you have to get right up against them to see. But there they are, little dark streaks coming down from their eyes. I think I gotta be getting close. I know this is stupid and there's no way the payoff is going to be worth it, but I just want to be able to say I stuck it out.
I got that one during the day. Later at night, I got a follow-up email.
Some of the planets aren't moving right. It's pissing me off. If this keeps up, I won't be able to keep track anymore. It's almost 2015 now, I think. Fuck. You know, I just now noticed that there aren't any monsters anymore either, so I'm completely alone outside now. The main quest people's bodies are still lying around, though. I want to check on them.
I don't even need headphones anymore, so I just leave them off. When he shrieks, it's like he's screaming right into my ear. I think I even kind of anticipate it. He's not around. He's around a lot more now, a lot closer. He's different from the other people who started showing up, remember? They kept running around, and just where I can barely see them. I have to admit, kind of creepy at night. Sometimes when I go to the bathroom or whatever, I swear I can see something out of the corner of my eye. Keeping all the lights on now.
I sent him a letter jokingly telling him to get some real sleep and left it at that. 2 mornings later, I found this in my email. It was the last thing I got from him. After this, he stopped responding completely.
I just got up from a fucked up dream, I think. The assassin shrieked at me, and when I opened my eyes, he was right there, crouching over me. His arms and legs were longer, were like a spider. Spiders. I tried to push him away, but when I touched him, my hands went inside, and I couldn't get them loose again, like he was made of tar or something.
Then I woke up, I thought. He was gone, but when I looked at the monitor, it wasn't where Corpusarium with Yagrum. For once, the light was okay, and I could see him all bloated on those mechanical spider legs. I sat down at the computer and he started talking to me. Not in a box, but really talking to me in Tierra's voice. He knew things about me. He told me things that I never told anyone, some things I totally forgot about. He told me that almost nobody had made it this far and that the door would open up soon. I just had to hang on a little while longer. He said I'd know when it was time. He said I might be the first one to see what was inside.
And then I woke up for real.
I've actually had experiences like that where I've thought I've woken up, but it turns out it was me waking up in a dream state. It's just...
Yeah, like I've had like the whole thing of my dream like being that I woke up.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate the double fake out. I hate the double fake out in stories.
Mm-hmm.
But I was at my computer. I still wasn't where I was. I'm swimming out of the Citadel Island. I can hear this tapping. It's at my window. It's over to the left, so I'm sending you this. Because I left my laptop, my bed, to the right. Just a little tap, tap. Just a little. Like he's knocking his finger against the glass. I might still be dreaming now.
So I guess that's the end of the story. I know there's a few other stories floating around about the mod, but this is the only one I know is true as far as it goes. I deleted my JVK copy of the game pretty much right after I gave up, but I'd like to get the mod again if anyone still has a copy of the file. I'd like to see some of this for myself. No, curiosity killed the cat. Don't do that.
So the question is was this actually like a supernatural haunted thing, or was this the result of sleep deprivation?
It's a possibility that it was... yeah, it's open-ended. I kind of like that, not going to lie.
Because that was the whole thing, is that it kind of was stated that he was having to stay up for hours on end to make sure that his character was still alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because staying in one place would cause the assassin, quote-unquote, to just fucking kill him.
Yeah.
I could tell you the answer. Don't. Anyway, I believe Herobrine now, because we need something stupid.
That one was actually really good.
I wouldn't quite say that I was like legitimately scared, but it wasn't poorly written.
No, it was like I'm not scared. Like I'm not scared. I don't really get scared when it comes to stories and stuff like that, with a couple exceptions. But at the same time, that's everyone, I think. But this one, it's like that was you talked about that. Oh, that kind of sent a chill up my spine. Yeah, kind of felt that a little bit.
It kind of did that, like little tangles.
Mm-hmm.
It probably didn't help that the librarian decided to fucking show up.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Anyway, Herobrine.
Oh boy.
Because surprisingly, we haven't covered this one. I didn't fucking bookmark that last one. Fucking. I think. Wait, did I? Shit. Let me check. Then we'll start Herobrine.
Mm-hmm. I know I haven't been around, if y'all did. So if you did that at one point in time, it was you and Zane.
I don't think. No, we wouldn't have covered Hero, Brian. We did like lost episode ones, but
Hmm.
I think we did do Mr. Mix, but I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
People in the comments who have like followed us for a while, I guess, let us know if we have. Anyway, Hero Brian. I recently spawned a new world in a single-player Minecraft. Everything was normal at first as I began chopping down trees and crafting a workbench. I noticed something move amongst the dense fog. I have a slow computer, so I have to play with a tiny render distance. Thought it was a cow, so I pursued it, hoping to grab some hides for armor.
It wasn't a cow, though. Looking back at me was another character with the default skin, but his eyes were empty. I saw no name pop up, and I double-checked to make sure I wasn't in multiplayer mode. He didn't stay long. He looked at me and quickly ran into the fog. I pursued out of curiosity, but he was gone.
I continued on with the game, not sure what to think. As I expanded to world, I saw things that seemed out of place for the random map generator to make. 2x2 tunnels in the rocks, small perfect pyramids made of sand in the ocean. Well, yeah, typically they're made out of a different stone. I can't remember what exactly the stone is. It aquamarine?
I not sure.
There's like fucking water temples in Minecraft. That like will just spawn in.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what they're made of. I mean, they aren't perfect pyramids, but you know.
I know, but one of my favorite enemies in Minecraft is the drowned because they're like it's just a cool idea in my opinion.
The what? Oh, the drowned. Yeah.
They're like
because they tend to hang around those, as do the guardians.
mm-hmm.
Let's see. In the ocean and groves of trees with all their leaves cut off. I would constantly think I saw the other player in the deep fog, but I never got a better look at him. I tried increasing my render distance too far. When it, fucking hell, I know what they're trying to say, but it's still so fucking awkward.
Mm-hmm. Especially when it's
maybe some quotation marks around far. That might help.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of with the whole thing of as I expanded to world.
Yeah.
Whenever I thought I saw him, but to no avail.
I saved the map and went on the forums to see if anyone else had found the pseudo player. There were none. I created my own topic telling of the man and asking if anyone had a similar experience. The post was deleted within 5 minutes. I tried again, and the topic was deleted even faster. I received a PM from username Herobrine containing one word: stop. When I went to look at Herobrine's profile, the page 404'd.
What?
It's time to stop.
Time to stop. This is, oh fucking hell, did my computer just freeze again? I swear. I received an email from another forum user. He claimed the mods can read the forum user messages. There we go. So we were safer using email. The emailer claimed that he had seen the mystery player too and had a small directory of other users who had seen him as well. The worlds were littered with obvious man-made features as well and described their mystery player to have no pupils.
As well was used a little too much, I think, in that paragraph, but oh well.
Was as well used a lot?
It seemed to be used like 2 or 3 times in a row, but
okay, as well, yeah.
Mm-hmm. About a month passed until I heard from my informant again. Some of the people who had encountered the mystery man had looked into the name Herobrine and found that name to be frequently used by a Swedish gamer. After some further information gathering, it was revealed to be the brother of Notch, the game's developer. I personally emailed Notch and asked him if he had a brother. It took him a while, but he emailed me back a very short message.
I did, but he is no longer with us. Signed, Notch.
I haven't seen the mystery man since our first encounter, and I haven't noticed any changes to the world other than my own. I was able to press print screen when I first saw him. Here's the only evidence I have of his existence. And there's a picture.
Yep, I'm going to read this. Wait. Oh,
It's the whole
okay.
the whole post. It's just the
Okay,
picture.
so I fucking hell.
Hmm.
That's a chicken.
Yeah, look over by the go zoom into the picture. Look over by the stair step.
Oh, this might. Oh, fucking hell. Dupe. Over by the stairs. Okay, I see it now.
Yeah.
Okay, that one was short.
Yes, it was very short.
Uh,
Okay.
Brother of Notch. Okay. I completely forgot about that aspect of it. Fucking hell.
Uh, okay. There's a story titled "The Scariest Video Game Ever."
That has to be a troll. There's no. We still have enough time. Like, it hasn't been an hour yet. Oh boy. Did I make sure to fucking. Did I not bookmark that one? Fucking hell. Alright, let me make sure that I bookmarked it because apparently I haven't been doing that when I've told myself I should. I haven't.
Mm.
That is a picture of a chicken.
That's a chicken. That's not a hero, Brian.
I remember, like, a while back, there was that whole thing of, like, the fake Herobrine sightings, and what it was a retextured door.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny. And then there were people who would build like pyramids and stuff like that and tear leaves off of trees just to mess with other people.
Yeah, shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, like, fucking Mojang got in on it, too, and would have it to where they'd whenever they'd have an update, occasionally it'd be, like, removed Herobrine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so okay, in the tags it says troll pasta. I don't know if you have it open yet.
What?
The scariest video game ever?
Yep.
It straight up says troll pasta.
Okay. Should we read it or no? Ooh, there's a word in here that's not great.
I have not seen that one. Which paragraph?
It's the first one. It's like, it says, right now, hear me out before saying, and then just the next one. I mean, we could censor it easily, but it's just one of those.
Wait, no, I know this one.
Okay.
Okay, literally what it is, it's Pac-Man.
Oh, okay.
That's literally what it is.
That's great.
Like, just you aren't given any sort of backstory. Apparently, you're a madman. You're never given him a name. But okay, let's see. What is it? For some reason, you escaped whatever mental hospital you were hiding in. Now, the very horrid state of your mind has transformed the halls of the hospital to nothing but pitch black mazes, which, with the only light being the walls, which glow a deathly blue. Character is apparently some sort of mad cannibal you can barely control. Force him to turn corners in the creepy hallway, but nothing else can be done. Character seems to grab anything and try to eat it. Whatever is in front of him is thrown into his mouth and he munches it down. While playing the game, you're chased by 4 hideous and fucking scary ghost monsters. You can't hurt them at all, and to come even close to one of them is instant death, in which the ghost latches onto you and rips you inside all. I'm guessing that's supposed to be out.
Mm-hmm.
However, you can eat objects hidden in the maze, in which your character goes into an even more unstable state. You can literally eat the ghost monsters. And then the end of it, there aren't any words to describe how horrific and terrifying this game is. If you don't want to spoil the surprises for you, just go ahead and try it for yourself. Google the word Pac-Man. It's literally just Pac-Man, that's the joke.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty good.
Okay, what do we want to do now? The silky chicken? What the fuck is that?
What? The silky chicken?
The silky chicken. It's an S.
I kind of want to read that.
What the fuck is the silky chicken?
That
sounds like something someone would pay me to do.
It looks like it's a Harvest Moon thing, so this will be interesting.
What? What?
You know, Harvest Moon, the OG.
I
The
know what
OG
Harvest Moon
game.
is. I know what Harvest Moon
I
is.
was trying to make a joke, Llytic, but then I forgot the name of the video game that I've played before that I was going to talk about. So,
The Silky Chicken.
and this one's a pretty long one, so this could probably be the last one we do.
The bookmark this shit, fucking hell. The title itself doesn't strike fear into anyone who reads it now, does it? Not really, no.
I thought it was humorous.
Are you okay there? You need a lozenge. Perhaps.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, the librarian who was here with me has disappeared. That makes me more nervous, not gonna lie.
That's a bit concerning, yes. Hey, keep your fucking hands where I can see them. Hey. Fucking hell. But if you had experienced the events that took place in the game that I had, you too would understand why it creeps me out. And why I will surely play a large factor of my decision to play any future. Why it will surely play a large factor in my decision to play any future Harvest Moon games.
It was
I
like
can speak English.
It was like any other weekend. My siblings and I sat together with our family at the dining table, enjoying the company of each other as our Oma, grandma, droned on and on about her trip to San Antonio, in which she went to participate in some event.
What language is that one? No, not the medical term. No, not tumors, not cancer.
My guess is Portuguese, but I'm not sure.
Is it Portuguese?
Maybe. I don't know.
Why Portuguese?
I don't know.
Yep, Polish. Oma.
Oh, it's German.
Well. Yeah, German grandparent. Okay, yeah. Okay.
All makes sense. Yeah, there's a bit of a German population in like North Texas, so.
Yeah. When her visit reached its end, she handed us each $20 for our allowance. The four of us were thrilled to have gotten so much from her at once, since she usually gives us $10.
Oh man, your Oma spoiled you. My grandmother was always like, here's some quarters and stuff. Make sure you save that up, and one day it'll be worth something. Maybe that's why I hoard coins like it's like their treasure.
I was told to make my own money.
That's also viable advice.
Apparently, the printing press I bought was not the correct response to that.
They should have been more specific.
Should have. How was I supposed to know that was illegal?
Now, we all know how hard it is to save money when you're young. It's even harder to do when you're a gamer and you live about 5 minutes away from a game store. Mood.
Gamer problems, am I right?
Yep, and you haven't stepped
#relatable.
And you haven't stepped foot inside said store in like forever, but now looking back, I wish that I hadn't spent my money that day.
Yes. You also bought Spectrobes.
Hey, I love that game. Fuck you.
I think part of it with me is that coincided with my fucking DS's trigger buttons dying.
Oh, mine did too, but at the same time...
So I couldn't use the fucking shit?
Yeah, well, I did play, though. That was one of the things, is like, I actually found a beat-up copy of it on a parking lot at one point in time. And I picked it up.
That sounds like the beginning of a video game creepypasta.
Yeah, well,
I found a beat-up copy of Spectrobes in a parking lot. It turns out it was haunted and it killed my father.
You know what? I'm gonna write me a creepypasta and post it at some point.
Mario killed my parents and my dad. Wait, what? Fucking hell. Something about stepping into a GameStop makes my heart race. I think it's the risk of infection.
It might be excitement, because new games.
Have you heard about that shit that was...
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the smell of the store or the fact that I'm surrounded by so many game titles.
Great titles.
Or the great titles. or the constant presence of Rona. But whatever the reason, I maybe I know I never leave the store unhappy. Wait, not even when I leave without buying a game.
Sometimes it's just fun to window shop, you know?
I don't know. I have to deal with a whole bunch of fucking Funko Pops staring me down.
Well, that's your problem, dude. But on this
I
day,
only own 2, and
I only own 1. And it was a
one
gift.
of them was a gift. Yeah,
Yeah.
one of them, a friend of mine gifted me the Hunter from Monster Hunter, and it doesn't look bad, partly because of the fucking eyebrows. They're just hilarious to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it has eyebrows, and then also the big-ass fucking sword.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a dynamic pose, so it kind of works. The other one is Grell
Grell?
from Black Butler.
Ah, okay.
That's the only one I bought.
But on this day, I left slightly heartbroken.
My youngest sibling stayed home. My little brother couldn't find his money, and my youngest sister isn't much of a gamer. So it was just me and my little sister.
The chimes rang overhead as we entered the store, and my sister made a beeline for the Nintendo 3DS game since she has been saving money on the side for Tomodachi Life. Ah, that's a fun
Now that's a true horror. No, yeah, like the guy I previously mentioned, Call Me Kevin, he also started doing a playthrough of that, so like making memes of like his Sims character, Jim's Pickens, and like transferring Turg over into it.
Mm-hmm.
As well as he made a character just called Default, and she's just the default face, the default clothing, and all of the stats are down the middle for her personality. And then he feeds her nothing but like plain bread.
Oh, if I was a me video game person and a girl. Okay, got it.
Wow. Do you only eat plain bread?
No, but I'm very dull and boring. It makes it easier to get away from crime scenes that way.
He also created a short, depressed version, like depressed-looking version of himself, just called Little Kev, wearing a giant leprechaun hat.
That's funny.
I too own a Nintendo 3DS, but the game I was really after was Pokemon Mystery Dungeons, Blue or Red Rescue Team. I believe. No, wait, I didn't own. I never actually owned that one. I ended up owning, I believe, all 3 of the Mystery Dungeons ones.
I have Explorers of Time, but
I had Explorers of Time, Explorers of Space, and Explorers of Sky, and I believe that I gifted one of those to a friend a while back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have to check like my DS case to see which one I still have, because I haven't beaten one of them technically.
I haven't beaten the one I have. I've started playing, and I kept doing the test over and over until I could get Totodile.
Seriously?
Yes.
I got a different one in each one. I believe one of them I got Turtwig, and the other one I got...
You see, I kept getting Pikachu is the problem. And it's like, that's
one
fine.
I got Luxray. One of them I got Luxray, one of them I got Turtwig, and one of them I got Mudkip.
Okay, that's great, but like I said, I kept getting Pikachu, and it's like, I don't want Pikachu. I want one of my favorite starters, Totodile, my favorite starter. And so
You're
apparently,
a fucking needy child, aren't you?
No, I'm just very stubborn, and apparently it's a jolly nature. Some of my answers aligned with that. I guess it turned out to be brave nature for the answers that I came up with. So like, yeah, whatever.
I guess.
But
but
I do want to get a Switch so I can get that remake of the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games, because that looks really good.
I'm also telling you that you need to get Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate whenever you do that.
Yeah, it's probably going to be real low on my list, honestly.
Dude, there are some monsters in there that you fucking need to see.
You see, that's the whole thing. Monster Hunter is fun, but like, you love it way more than I do. And
I just love like the work put into it to make it seem like these are actually like a part of the world.
You see, that's cool and all and everything, but it's like it's one of those games that I have to be in the mood to play. I haven't played in months, like seriously.
Which is
It's
kind of a shame because Elatrion finally got added.
yeah, I don't know what that is.
It's a black dragon, aka basically a god monster.
Oh, okay, yeah. I need to get to Iceborne, I suppose.
Yes. Like, it is a beautiful game and well made. Like, the mechanics for it are fucking, like, for World are just fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm. Again, I recognize the talent and effort put into the game, but at the same time, it's like I'd rather be playing other games a lot of the time.
For me, it is just, like, one of the more fun things I've done in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what I was going to say is that I'm stuck on fucking Dialga with a fucking Turtwig.
That's hmm.
I'm not looking forward to the Darkrai fight.
Well, at least it's not a steel type with Darkrai.
Yeah. Because that's also the other thing. You can't evolve until you beat Darkrai.
Oh,
For
really?
anyone who hasn't, yeah.
Hmm.
Have you not finished the game?
No, dude, I haven't even beaten I've only gone through like the first 2 dungeons, I think.
Okay, because the whole thing is that you're gonna have to fight like Palkia, Dialga, and Darkrai.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah. 'Cause that's also the whole thing is you'll be able to like evolve teammates and shit like that. But basically, like because of like the circumstances, like some weird things going on to where you're not able to use the spring that's used to evolve until you beat Darkrai.
Okay.
You have to fucking take on legendary Pokemon as a first evolution starter.
A challenge worthy of my skill.
I managed to do it in both Sky and whichever one it was in which I was a Mudkip. Still
Well,
can't beat it with the fucking Turtwig.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was really after Pokemon Mystery Dungeons Blue or Red Rescue Teams since I had played Pokemon Mystery Dungeons Explorers of Time and Pokemon Mystery Dungeons Explorers of Sky. I thought, why not add to the Mystery Dungeon collection with an old game, since I couldn't afford the new one for 3DS.
Ah, yes, gamer struggles. But as I made my way to the Game Boy Advance DS section, I noticed to my dismay that the small shelf was void of all games except one. Harvest Moon, The Tale of Two Towns.
The Silky Chicken.
Oh no.
I
It's
wasn't
so
sure if I wanted it or not. What?
it's so silky and soft you won't be able to resist petting it.
Sugar and pepper and a pepper and sugar and a sugar and pepper and a pepper and sugar. I wasn't sure if I wanted it or not. I walked away several times, but found myself going back to the game. I always loved the series ever since my mom bought Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life for the GameCube. I remember that one. It's the one where your main character died and an angel had to reassure you that your life was worth living.
Wait,
Wait.
what?
I'm hoping you got the joke.
I did get the joke. I did
Okay.
get the joke. It just took me a sec. It was like, hang on. That's one of my dad's favorite movies. Like, it's not a bad movie.
It seemed wrong not to take it home. Besides, I seen it in the eShop on my 3DS and pondered buying it, so I might as well, right?
Oh yeah, they're definitely from Texas. I've seen it.
Wait, did they say I'd seen it?
Besides,
Or I
I've
seen it?
I seen it in the eShop on my 3DS and pondered buying it, so might as well, right?
Well, there's definitely something you expect to hear down there.
When it came our time to pay, I requested the Harvest Moon game. The cashier nods, fetches the game. When he returns, he looks a little uneasy, but I think nothing else at the time. He bags the games and turns to me and says in a slightly urgent tone, "You know we have a policy for these games. After 3 days, you can return it if you're unsatisfied."
Seems like this weren't the best idea.
Probably not.
There are times when that fucking word of all things slips into things I say, and it catches people so fucking off guard.
When I'm really tired and not watching, I will naturally slip into a bit of a accent. It's kind of funny.
It's not even the accent, it's just that I tend to say the word, like different words that are more common for that. Like weren't.
Mm-hmm.
I found it odd since he hadn't breathed a word of this to any of his previous customers, nor had he told this to my sister. So why me? I thank him for the advice as my sister and I leave the store.
Looking
So
back,
was that a used copy?
it might have been. I mean, most
What?
most DS games, like if the way they're
There's
describing it, it's a used copy anyway. And
there's usually like a shelf for used games.
well, yeah, but like any
Or
DS
wait,
game,
Game Boy Advance, the DS section, so those would
yeah,
likely be all used.
that's all used. Yes, and the
Generally.
GameStops I've been at don't really have Game Boy Advanced places anymore because it's all just DS stuff, and there's like Nintendo
Yeah.
Switch. And soon enough, it's going to be 3DS games that are in the used game section because of the next generation consoles and stuff. It's just a cycle of video games.
I don't think they've made a new one recently.
No, the Switch is kind of a hybrid of a console and a portable game.
Console and mobile, yeah.
Mhm.
Or portable, not mobile. Holy shit, those are different.
Mm-hmm. Looking back on the situation, I wonder if he was trying to tell me something. And it makes me wonder if he knew something was wrong.
Gee, I wonder.
That's a possibility.
Despite what happened in the store, I was anxious to play the game after watching my sister play Tamagotchi Life. I ran those together wrong. After watching my sister play Tamagotchi Life, I went upstairs and began to play my new game.
Started as any other Harvest Moon game, a small cutscene and upbeat music before cutting to a title, displaying the name in typical Harvest Moon fashion with the main name on a wooden panel and bubble letters of the spin-off name.
Harvest Moon, the Silky Chicken. When I clicked A, it gave me the option to continue and new game. Naturally, I proceeded with a fresh start. I proceeded with a fresh start and proceeded with the process of picking my gender, name, birthday, and season. If you're anything like me, gender will have nothing to do with what clothes you wear.
After which followed another cutscene of which your character is going down the road to start their new farm ranch life and has an accident in which the cart breaks, your horse is hurt, and your character suffers from slight amnesia and forgets which town they wanted to go to. They were later greeted by both mayors of Bluebell and Konohana. Both mayors described their towns, and I chose Konohana since it sounded like Konoha from Naruto.
Weeb. Previous thing. Yes, I'd like to, provide some insight as to what makes a good story without being too mean to the author. This one, weeb. After a quick session on how each button worked and what button did what action, I was finally able to play the fucking game.
Damn tutorials.
Tutorials?
Yes. Unlike the other town, Konohana is well known for growing crops, while Bluebell is known for livestock.
Well, yeah, my first thought with Bluebell is Bluebell ice cream, which would be like cows.
Moo.
Mrr. Anyway, had my character.
Weeb.
Weeb. Weeb. Erakusu spent the first day exploring, getting used to the map of the world. You see, usually when I'm given an option in games, my immediate thought is me. Just M-E.
Mm-hmm.
I did that in all three of the Mystery Dungeon games. I named my character me and the side character you. Dialogue was a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
I did the same thing in Pokemon, I believe it was White 2, is the one that I
Mm-hmm.
have.
Yeah.
It's just me, my rival, you. And I remember, because
Reminds me of
Mario Kart against some... What?
It reminds me of that one scene in freaking Rush Hour 2.
John
No,
Wayne? You don't know John Wayne?
no, I'm me. You're you. No, he's you.
Yeah. Well, like there was another thing because like with the whole DS thing of like the being able to like just one person has a copy of Mario Kart and you can all play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you have to
My
be a
name
second.
on my DS was me,
Mm-hmm.
and at one point I had just fucking nailed someone with a shell and zoomed past him, and I just hear someone go, "Who the fuck is me?" So that was satisfying.
Mm-hmm. Sounds fun.
The next day, Erikusu had taken down to town and given a tour of Konohana by the mayor. Was taken, not has. Holy shit. When we arrived at the long tunnel connecting the two towns, Erikusu was told that the tunnel was blocked off, making the trip to the other town, a long journey which required going through the mountain.
After what the mayor tells Arikusu, she leaves her at the tunnel, triggering the harvest goddess to appear, and she tells her,
Demeter?
maybe, and she tells Arikusu the story behind the blockade. Then we find out she blocked it because she was annoyed with the mayor's fighting, and as always, she is asking you to solve this feud yourself because she is too lazy.
Well, she's a god. She has bigger things to do. Can't be bothered with two mayors quarreling.
Now she's bothered enough by it to block the tunnels.
Yes. But, I mean, if I were a god, I wouldn't really be like, yeah, I'm just going to deal with mortal affairs. If he doesn't know, get those fuckers away from me. And we find out the only way to stop the fighting is to enter cooking contests. Okay.
I think this is the actual plot of the game.
I think that is, yeah. Agreeing to this, I finally get to start my free play once again. I decide to buy some crops for my farm and start making money to start preparing for the upcoming contest.
I have Arikusu run to Gobi's, a cute little old man who dresses in traditional Asian clothing, house where the seeds were sold. But when Arikusu reached the building, the song that was playing in the background stalled out, playing one monotonous note, and an exclamation point appeared over Arikusu's head. I wasn't too sure what to think of this, but I brushed it off.
Also, yes, traditional Asian clothing. Very specific.
Probably meaning a kimono.
Little old man in kimono.
Mm-hmm. Give me a sec. I'm gonna.
Are you pulling up Gobe?
Yeah, I'm gonna look up Gobi and Harvest Moon.
Yes, a fish. Thinking it was a small glitch in the game, I moved Arikusu into the shop and walked around. Everything seemed normal. The room was styled like a Japanese home, with a counter in the center as I had my character walk up to Gobe and talk to the old man. He said, "Go, it's waiting." The picture of the old man then shifted to a picture of him laughing. Did you find Gobe?
No, I couldn't actually. I clicked Gobe Harvest Moon and nothing popped up. So either this was a new created character or something, or it's Harvest Moon isn't popular enough to have characters searched for like that. Wasn't sure if this was just a random comment that he makes, but it made me sit my 3DS down for a moment before continuing. I know from previous knowledge of Harvest Moon games, the characters, often say random things, but this was kind of creepy.
Alright, so I will say that Gobi, as in the fish, is relatively popular. Okay, no, that's Nori. Which, Tale of Two Towns. TTOTT.
Yeah, give me a sec.
Why is that the first thing that pops up when you search Gobe? That's Shang.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why is there a picture of Betty Boop and why a Betty Boop snow globe? Anyway, that answered no questions of mine whatsoever.
Oh, hold on.
Think
I think they
I think
meant
Gobe
Gombe.
might.
Gombe. Here we
Gombe?
go. Yeah, give me a sec.
Gombe. They left out a whole ass letter in a 5-letter name.
This dude.
That fucker's adorable.
Yeah, he is.
How deciding to continue the game, I moved my character around to the counter to talk to Gobe so I could purchase the seats. But all the text box held was a single word, sobbing.
Oh.
It's probably because you got his name wrong.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. I was a bit confused, so I decided to give up on the seeds and return my avatar home. Upon leaving the shop, the music I noticed playing slowly, and the exclamation point returned, which soon switched to the ellipses, and a text box popped up saying, "I think I'm forgetting something. I should go home."
My screen turned white, and then when the brightness faded, my avatar was back home. Instant transmission, apparently.
Or
Standing
more
in front of the chicken coop. I do love our little talks.
like...
The music stopped, which doesn't happen until late hours in all Harvest Moon games.
Erikusu walked toward the coop on her own and entered it. The screen faded to black, and only one sound rung out, and that was the clucking of a chicken.
The silky chicken.
Oh no, he comes.
Zolga, he comes! I haven't shown you one of those fucking comics yet. I need to.
Eh.
I mean, they're nothing to write home about, but I get, like, the whole aesthetic to them. When the game visual returned, I noticed a black chicken in the coop. Why was that with an exclamation mark?
I have no idea. Sorry, hang on. I was looking through the wiki. I hadn't bought a chicken because Konohana isn't about farm animals. The village thrives due to its crops.
Oop. Okay. Anyway, isn't about farm animals due to its crops. I set my game down and did research into the chickens in A Tale of Two Towns. What I found was that a lady named Jessica sells chickens to you at a good price, but you can obtain a free chicken if you choose Bluebell as a town to live in. But the chicken I had was only obtainable in the second year.
Oh, I got something for you at a reasonable price, or however the heck the merchant says things, or whatever. In that one resident.
What are you buying?
Mm-hmm. I thought I was lucky. I didn't have to wait for the second year. I walked my character over to the book that sat on the crate in the coop. I figured it was an animal ledger that all HMs had. I was right. I noticed that they had icons of the animals you can collect and raise.
Yeah, like that sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
The animals were sheep, cows, house pets, alpacas, owls, and chickens.
Okay, that sounds like interesting. I kind of want to get this game just because, but I don't know. All the animals I didn't own were shaded blue, and I wasn't able to click on them. This included the chicken.
I thought it was weird since it was in the coop. I walked my character towards the chicken and clicked A to hold it. But as soon as I hit A, the chicken disappeared with a loud sound which sounded much like a low, distorted scream.
Oh no. Creepy scream. Is there going to be a hyper-realistic chicken head that pops up here in a sec?
The hyper-realistic chicken ate my sister as she played Tamagotchi Life.
The sound caused me to jump and drop my 3DS. I stared at the screen for a moment and watched as the screen cut to black and more distorted static-like screams filled the silence before it all ended as my character woke up the following morning. Oh, that's not fun.
Moved the rest, Erikusu, around the house and around the farm to see if the chicken was still there, and I was relieved to see that the chicken was nowhere to be found.
I proceeded to play the game normally, but I was still scared that I would have a run-in with the chicken. I decided to try and make money since I knew that it is required to expand the house and to help boost friendship in the game.
At one point, I decided to try and buy seeds again from the old seed farmer Gobe.
Gombe!
Gombe. When I walked to a shop/home, the song began to jump and skip beats, forestalling on one continuous note when I reached the stairs, just like it had the last time I visited.
Like last time, everything seemed normal until I talked to Gombe. His picture showed him laughing, but the text box read, "Beware, it becomes black."
Well, that's racist.
I was confused by this. I sort of felt like he was referring to the chicken I saw, but I dismissed it. He comes!
Most of them are just kind of stupid, but I guess, like... I'm wondering if this is partly what led to the fucking I'm sorry, John shit.
Maybe. I don't know how long that's been around, so...
Because there was, like, this one piece of artwork, way back, or not way back, but, like, a few years back of, like, a Eldritch Horrific Garfield thing that just was, like, towering over John. It was like, I'm sorry, John.
Oh, yeah, I know about...
Which, yeah, because that guy also did, like, a few other things with other characters, like Nightmare Luigi and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that particular one just kind of took off and people started, like, running with it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, no, there's a channel I follow on YouTube called Lumpy Touch, and he does a whole lot of, like, pixel animation that is just creepy and great, and like he's been doing a lot of like Gorefield stuff, like that.
I mean, it's interesting. It did also result in one surprisingly decent comic that started up. It's by a Redditor who goes by the name of Still in the Simulation. It's called Bikini Bottom Horror.
Yes, I've seen that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that is holy shit.
Fucking amazing. Like
Kraken Squidward.
Okay, the farthest I got, I didn't see Squidward go Kraken, but the farthest I got was like seeing like the giant starfish rising from Bikini Bottom and Squidward standing on the edge of a hill. Like, I don't know if that's like the end of it or what, but like
I have been keeping up to date. I have been keeping up to date with this shit, and it is better than it should be.
Oh my god, yes, I saw it. I was like, oh, this is going to be something dumb that I started reading.
I don't want to get into spoilers for that shit, weirdly enough.
Oh yeah, I was reading it. I was like, fuck, this is really good.
Like, anyone out there, if you like that Gorefield shit or anything like that, then check out, like, Still in the Simulations Bikini Bottom Horror series. Like, again, I wouldn't say that it's like an actually like legitimately scary thing, but it is just... It's awesome. Like it's a fanfic comic that's kind of like taken in a wild direction.
Oh yeah, no, dude, it's like amazing. Like I agree with Llytic. It's very good. Check it out, and just it's like even if you're not a huge fan of the Gorefield thing, you can at least appreciate the art to go with. It's really,
I tend to know what I'm talking about with comics. Apparently, I've just been doing a lot of comic recommendations recently. Yeah, I bought my seeds for the season and got Erikusu home and began to plant my crops. But each time I planted, the crop sound effect for the seeds being placed looped.
I would either have to enter and exit either the barn, my house, or the coop to make it stop. I sent Arakusu to bed after saving because the whole back and forth with looping and having to enter and exit buildings was just too much. But when the screen went to black, a text box popped up saying, "It's coming." I thought it was the harvest goddess talking, since she and the harvest sprites are known to have little moments like this where they speak to your character, implying they're dreaming.
He comes. Hey. As the days passed, no, no, no. Passed, not past.
Bad author. No.
As the days passed in the game, my crops would always die and never grow, leaving me broken without crops. Thought it was because I was in the wrong season with them, but I was always look up to crops for the current season before I bought them.
Frustrated with the failed crops, I decided that it was time for a break. I saved the game, ignoring the pop saying, "It's almost here," and turned off my game.
I decided that I'll try again the next day and take a different approach in the game when it comes to making money. Next morning, I decided to play the game again, but when I selected the icon for A Tale of Two Towns, the screen froze. Had that happen before.
Me too.
Specifically Fossil Fighters.
Hmm.
The first one, weirdly enough, not the second one.
Hmm.
Second one was better than, like, both the first two, like the first one and the second one were better than they had any right to be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've like played any of those.
No, I've wanted to, but I've never been able to find a copy of them anywhere.
Because I do own the first two, which they do, interestingly enough. The whole thing is that they tend to have like a second save slot.
Oh, okay.
So you can have like two saves set up on one game.
Interesting.
The only issue with the second one is I believe that came out around the same time that the fucking Nintendo like internet thing. I mean the fucking like internet thing for like the old DSs stopped being a thing.
Yeah.
So literally, like, there were some dinosaurs that you could only get that way.
That's.
I mean, it's similar to like with it's similar with like the Pokemon games, the Dream World or whatever it's called.
Yeah. I got you.
Because that was the whole thing. Is as soon as I figured out how to do that, couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I reset the 3DS and tried again. This time, red and blue lines appeared on the top screen, and the bottom screen was static. I thought it was the system, so I tried one of my apps, and it worked fine. I tried loading one of my old games, and they worked fine.
It was only when I tried loading the game a third time it finally loaded, and it went to the title screen, and the usual cute title was now jumbled symbol. The dates that show how long the series ran said 1629 to 1692. I stared at the date and shrugged, not thinking much of it.
Not bad. It's commendable for a video game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say so.
1629 to 1692? Yeah, not bad.
Pretty good run.
I continued to play it and came up with an easier plan to make money. I decided it would be better off scavenging around the mountains, selling what I found.
Within a few hours in real life, a few months passed in the game. One's bugging
What?
me. The past rather than past.
Oh, yeah. I just didn't have to read it that time.
Yeah, and like before, the mayor had visited Arakusu and told me about the ability to move to the other town, and that I could always come back to this one if I ever wanted to. I thought it would be a nice change, and I would have better luck making money off my animal products, since crop growing failed.
Are we going to have to deal with the fucking animals dying?
Probably.
I moved Arakusu to Bluebell the same day, and I was thrilled because I was finally able to own animals and sell the products they produced.
That same day, I decided to save and tour the town the next day, but as I saved, I got a message saying, "Wretched girl." I wasn't sure if they were referring to me or Arakusu. The next morning in the game, the mayor of Bluebell visited, and when he visited, all that his text said was, "You wretched girl."
I think that the mayor might have issues with women.
That is a possibility.
The avatar image of him was the one of him angry. He said nothing more as he turned away from Arakusu and left her home.
Time in the game passed fairly quickly as I had the tunnel slowly cleared out and as test to build up the friendship levels of the mayors and Before I knew it, I had filled up all the hearts for the mares.
The next day, in the game, there was a cutscene. The screen was black, and a white font appeared saying, "You serve him. We all serve him." Then it faded to white and showed my character in the house where the old lady from Konohana appears, telling me to go to the mountain.
Another cutscene followed, and Erikusu was at the mountain. Both mares were at the edge as the villagers from both towns stood nearby.
The son of the mayor from Konohana shouted something, but the text was distorted. The mayors looked at one another, then to the crowd, when little speech bubbles appeared over their heads showing skulls.
The crowd then had exclamation points over their heads as the mayors stepped forward, causing the crowd to step backward at this point. No music was playing in the game, nor was there any sound. The mayors kept advancing. As soon as they reached the crowd, the screen glitched, showing me a red screen.
I was about to reset the game when a soft sound could be heard from the speakers. It sounded like laughing. Before I could really make out what the sound was, it cut to the credits.
The game was over, and as the credits rolled, a slow, eerie version of Around the Rosie played out. Notes would occasionally be skipped,
Motherfucker!
and often the sounds of soft, faint child chuckles would be heard.
Eh! Eh! Eh!
Blah.
The names I was scrolling through I'd never seen listed before in any Harvest Moon games, nor with Natsume or Nintendo.
The names that were listed seemed like old names from long ago. I don't remember all the names, but I know that they all sounded familiar. I know I read or heard them from somewhere.
The screen then faded to black, and then the text box opened saying, "Continue," with the option of yes or no.
I clicked yes.
The game then crashed with the screen fading to black, and it froze on a black screen with the words, "May God bless them."
I was done at that point. I believe in God and I love him. For my parents taught us about the holy book, but this game seemed evil in a way I didn't like, and I didn't like.
What?
Okay.
I have yet to see this angle before.
Hmm.
Is this why there was the black chicken?
Chickens are evil, man, don't you know? They're going to take over the world one of these days.
I don't know, just farm animals seem to often have demonic symbolism with them for some fucking reason.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted nothing more than to throw it away and save someone else the trouble of dealing with this game.
I told my friend about it on my DeviantArt account, and he said he wanted to film the game to stick on YouTube. I reluctantly agreed, but each time we tried to record the game, and system would appear to be off.
We tried with many different cameras, and it resulted with the same outcome.
He told me I should try playing it again, and I reluctantly agreed. The game this time around started normally. No freak startups or mess-ups.
I mean, isn't there like a whole thing of... I guess you technically need like an emulator or something, but I know there are people who have like recorded like DS games and shit like that for YouTube.
Mm-hmm. There are some like emulators I think you can get, and I think there were some like DS recording devices at some point in time, or they were like...
It was like that, or it was like some form of adapter cable where you could plug it in into a USB port or some shit like that, so you could get it to where...
Yeah.
I don't know. In the game, it was year 2, and I decided to add my livestock, since my Jersey cow Annie, my normal cow Hanji, and my sheep Marco were doing so well, occasionally producing gold items.
I decided to add my chickens because I always needed eggs for some odd reason, and Ymir producing a lot. I just needed...
I had Erikusu head over to Jessica's livestock and talk to Jessica. Which Jessica we know too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
I know 3 actually.
Well. Instead of her usual message of welcome to Jessica's livestock, she said, "If they float, then there." The screen then cut to the livestock list.
I extolled down and was thrilled to see she had a new animal, but I immediately felt dread when I realized what kind it was.
She had the silky chicken in stock. My
Oh
friend
no.
told me to go ahead and buy it, but he said he had doubts it's the same chicken.
I had to agree with that, and I decided to buy the chicken.
I named the chicken Connie and made Erikusu go back to the farm. When she entered the barn, Connie had the skull icon above his head. Maybe he's just upset you named him Connie.
Hmm.
Reading he was sick. I was confused. In previous Harvest Moon games, you were always given healthy animals. Heck, my other animals came healthy.
I had Erikusu run back to the store, and I bought animal medicine and used it on Connie. The next day in the game, I woke up only to find that Marco, my sheep, had died and that Connie was sick again.
I fucking called it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fucking hell. I bought medicine and used it on Connie. I noticed that everyone I had high friendship levels with had gone down, but I figured it was like in Harvest Moon Save the Homeland, how everyone is mad at you for the day, telling you to be more careful. No.
Well, the next day, Erikusu wakes only to find that Ymir had died and Connie was once again sick.
Maybe you should just stop giving this chicken medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you do, an animal dies.
Mm-hmm.
This happened over and over until all my farm animals had died except for Connie.
Oh boy.
Cha-cha, real smooth. Connie was now healthy and would eat and run about.
I noticed that my pets, Erwin, Levi, big and little dog, Japan, cat, and
I...
Kohaku, owl, wouldn't eat or go outside anymore. It wasn't until the following day that they were nowhere to be found. Oh, Connie,
Weeb.
like the freaking Attack on Titan character. Got it.
Oh my fucking god.
Connie, Erwin, Levi.
Weeb. It was like the game erased them.
Same thing happened to Cam, the florist, and the character I was trying to marry.
I wasn't sure what to think. I'd stopped playing the game and went to Game Facts. And asked them, bought a chicken and it was sick. The next day, and those that follow my livestock died. Except for one, my chicken I had bought. My livestock were just a year old, and the bachelor I tried to marry, Cam, is gone. It's not the days he's out of town.
I never got a response to the thread, so I took it down.
I decided I would sell Connie.
Went to Jessica and she wasn't there. I tried every time. Every day she was just gone.
I decided to talk with Ash, even though he doesn't sell or buy animals, and he was gone too.
I decided to check the entire village. I had Erikusu check all the buildings and all the houses, but they were void of people and animals. I then had her run to the other village, but when I got there, the screen cut to black and text popped up saying,
"They're dead, with their rings around their rosies and pockets full of posies."
okay, ow, first of all.
Was that loud?
It wasn't loud, it was just, there was a lot. It's hard to explain. It's like, it wasn't loud, but it was like piercing, like, just like, I don't know. It was good. It was good.
Me sticking the mic in my mouth apparently just causes pain.
Then another cutscene showed Erikusu. She stood facing the river and the music that was playing stopped. Behind her, Connie appears and walks up before running towards Erikusu, before the screen cut to black.
Only the clucking of the chicken can be heard, and the screen says,
The end. Your trial ran from 1629 to 1692.
What the fuck was that?
It was an acid trip. No, Llytic. It was the silky chicken.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the silky chicken is just something I would have been paid to do at some point.
Yeah. Well,
Go to my OnlyFans to see the silky chicken.
well,
think that about does it for tonight, correct?
Yeah. Fucking hell. Special thank you to Summer Moon Soldier and Destiny Baird for supporting us on Patreon. If you like what we do and would like to support us, then consider going down to the link in the description and going to our Patreon and giving any amount of money that you want, as well as, doing the different channel interaction things, the liking, the commenting, and the subscribing. Granted, you don't have to do this. We have no control over what you do. It just helps the channel.
Do what you want.
Do what you want because a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
Yar fiddly.